You can probably guess by the dress I'm wearing today that we're in South Korea for day 23 of our 31 days of Sip for Peace. The focused tea region will be the first of two Korean tea growing regions. Today we are in Beosong. I think there's a great need to focus on peace for all the people of Korea, both North and South. Sharing an awareness of them through tea is another way that we can knit ourselves together as this international global community of tea people, of all people. I learned something very important when I was in Korea. I went with an awe of their ancient history and their culture, the ceremonies, the tea ware, and the teas. So when I was asked by the Myeongwon Cultural Foundation to speak about Western tea traditions, I felt humbled and a little confused. What could I possibly say about the way that we celebrate tea in the West that could compare with Korea, with any of the other Asian tea traditions? I learned it's not about comparison. One of the stories about Myeongwon, the original founder of the Cultural Foundation, was during a time shortly after the Korean War, when she was asked from some of the guests in her home about cultural traditions there in South Korea. And she felt a lacking of her own knowledge, but also realized how important they were and the need to restore them, protect them, and teach them, which is what she committed her life to doing, devoted her life to doing, and the traditions and that her and this is something that her family is carrying on now, her daughter, her grandchildren, and her great-grandchildren. From Mrs. Kim, the original Myeongwon's daughter, and from my time there at the school, at the foundation, and at their World Tea Expo, I realized that every tradition around the world, everyone who celebrates with tea, is important and connected, and at the risk of losing something very precious that's deserving of being cherished and shared. So this has to include my own young tea culture here in the U.S. and to start to look with a different lens at how we share tea and what's important about it. How are we going to develop this so that 100 years from now or 1,000 years from now, people can look back and say that we played an important part in this conversation? The dress I'm wearing is a traditional hanbok, and the tea set with which we'll serve tea today are precious gifts from my time in Korea. These things are along with beautiful memories, inspired a conviction for the Sip for Peace and helped me really to understand why this is important, beyond just making ourselves feel good, that we have a real opportunity here. I don't want to miss it. Our meditation today is a video that was produced by the foundation, and the tea is from this region of South Korea, Beosong. It was donated by Mr. Moon for May Tea. And I'll leave you with one aspect of Korean tea and of all teas that really strikes me is the idea of beauty, of tea traditions being guided by the concept of beauty and sharing beauty. So the question I'll ask as we sip for peace today is, what role does beauty play in our vision of a peaceful planet as we sip for peace?